mouse is typing.
I sure am.
TT.
Use that ad everywhere. Maybe we should get a role that's like league news, and everyone is automatically opted in when they join. They can opt out if they want.
It's a good idea, actually.
So then we don't have to ping everyone, and the people who get mad at everyone's can. We would save that for important, very, very important things.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Also, Tomas, I will promote you once you get in here.
I'm already promoted for sure.
Oh, okay. It like defaults.
I'm pretty sure. No, it's I've been here before. I'm a moderator.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry. Like, and once you make someone a mod on your stream on a channel, it like defaults to that.
Test. Yep.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Oh. Good.
Yep.
Fine. Yes. Perfect.
Got a link.
Ah, yes, of course. That is an important thing. I should probably have added. Okay, let's make people angry. That's cool. Huge.
All right. Hopefully, I can see the stream chat without logging in.
You should be able to.
I can.
Buzz. Buzz, 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 buzz. Hello. Welcome in.
Hello. Wonder who that is.
You do that already.
Should we maybe change the name of these quarterly updates to more like we feel like
Office
it updates?
hours. Office hours, honestly, is a better name for it.
Office hours, if when you hear the word office hours and you don't think that just means they're there whenever they want to be, then you never went to college.
That's true.
It's true.
I literally
My
cannot think of a
approach to
better
office
name.
hours when I was in college was I went once ever, and I never visited anyone ever.
My literal graduate advisor was the type of guy where he never responded to a single email, and he had office hours 3 times a week for 4 hours. And you could show up to those office hours at noon and leave at 8 p.m. and never see this motherfucker. He had a fucking mannequin in his office. He was a military history professor. He had a mannequin in his office that was always dressed in different, like, paratrooper outfits and shit like that. And he'd set it so it looked like it was somebody in the office when you walked by. So you'd walk by and you'd be like, oh yeah, Walker was in there. You'd be like, was he? Well, like, I saw someone and you walk by, you're like, it was a fucking mannequin in a goddamn gas mask, or you'd put it in there to. Yeah, it was bullshit. Office hours is a legit name.
If updates are bad news for you, buddy. No,
You're not
actually,
getting any
we'll probably
updates.
start with updates and we'll finish with the survey results because there's honestly it's simultaneously a very busy time but also kind of a volume wise quiet time because it's abundantly obvious what is busy.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's an obvious busy time. It's like, obviously.
This is the most visible time of the year where we can kind of just point at things and go, yeah guys, we're a little busy.
Okay, thank
I
you,
mean,
John. Is that better?
That's because Dayman is actually 3,000
No,
times louder
I
than
mean,
us.
legitimately,
that's
that
not
is
true.
true.
I'm louder than everyone else. Let's be honest.
But also,
Yeah, you do sound the same volume to me as Tomas, so it must be
yeah. We did probably adjusted in Discord. Is that better though, John?
How about this? Did you make us louder or make Dayman quiet?
I can adjust my own mic independently of you guys.
How about this?
Yes. Okay.
I had to deafen to hear myself to compare volumes. Okay, I think we should be good. I mean, just to double check, you do have the VOD. We
Yeah.
can post the VOD, right?
And
Okay,
Just don't
that's
play
fine.
any
I'm recording
copyrighted
on
music.
OBS. Or on OBS too.
I have good news, guys. My singing voice isn't that accurate. Um. Okay.
Spoil the update.
All right. Let's get started then. In terms of updates, so for some context, we have collectively made an LOM calendar. This is not a new thing, but for anyone who hasn't been here before, LOM has a calendar which basically dictates or says what tasks we kind of need to do collectively for each session. This was something we made last season, and it's basically both helpful for us, but also kind of future proofs the position in a sense that if one of us decides to step down or doesn't win an election, not all the knowledge is lost and people aren't in the dark. There's somewhat of a template people can follow. In terms of like, yes, also the bus clause can't beat the bus clause. Um, so in terms of the next couple of sessions, it's really primarily just the All Star break, setting up the All Star game, helping Mark with minimums for the All Star game, like ballot, and um, Damon and I are also going to be calculating primary positions played, because that is a manual thing that we need to do. So basically, we're not doing it for everybody in the league, but if someone is on the All Star ballot, if their primary position is left field, but they've been a right fielder for the team in 80% of their games, they'll be listed as a right fielder on the All Star ballot. So we just need to go through basically everyone who's on the ballot, go into the, well, not the Reddit threads, we have a command for it, but mark off what position they played and figure out which position they qualify for primarily.
I do pull up the Reddit threads,
Oh, fair.
but also it's just you just spam one team, just dot game, Seattle, 12-1, 12-2, all the way down, and just click through, and then you can just grab everybody from each team. But yeah, it's like, let's see, this session, so all the exhibition game signups are up, which is actually earlier than I'm whispering now. Okay, here. We'll go in the middle of the two. Um, and so I'm just gonna keep fucking with this. Just to, so that's the only thing everybody pays
just
attention
slide it up
with.
and down
Yeah,
while you talk.
literally. Um, all the sign up forms are out, so go do that. You can sign up for everyone. For like any ones that you want, and those will close. Like, okay, cool, that's better. I literally was just sitting there, just like slightly moving it, waiting for somebody to say that's good in the chat, and then I stopped. um, no, my headset's been really stupid lately. Like, has to be plugged in now too, which is so dumb. Anyways, yeah, so those will be open until pretty much the end of session 12. Probably like the day or two before, just because like we don't want to wait like 5 days in between the All-Star break and the end of session 12 to like set everything up. And if it's just like, if it happens to be like a Tuesday or something, it'll take like a day or to get it. But and then for the actual All-Star break, like Tomas said, stats will cut off after this one. We're going to make the ballot between session 11 and 12, which I already have it pretty much ready. It just needs finagled a little bit once we like know the amount of people. The manual positions also kind of play into that. It's like one of those things where like kind of need each other to kind of finalize. But after that, and then the MILR one will be, we'll make that two in between, and then at the start of session 12, we'll release both of them, and then it's just a week of voting. We close them and put them into the vote counter, and then we'll release the graphics for the starters and do the final vote. And reminder, it is the top person at each position is the starter, and then all the teams without a representative go into the final vote, and then that's how we select the DH, and then any team without a representative, they get one person to send. So there'll be,
And also, it's 5 pitchers.
yes,
5 pitchers.
the starter gets 2 innings, and then everybody else gets 1. Is how
Yeah.
kind of historically.
And if we go to extras, we shoot ourselves.
Mm-hmm. That's it's not
Um,
allowed. So yeah, we'll have, and that all those sort of steps will come out as we release stuff. It's kind of confusing every single year, but
And
then the final
positions don't
vote
matter, I believe.
for what?
Just the
all of
All-Star
the
game,
All-Star break.
Yeah,
where the positions don't matter.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we'll make it so positions don't matter. Just so that people can get playing time and pinch hit where needed.
yeah. It's just for
Um,
the starters. I mean, it's just like how you
Yeah, the
vote.
starters
After
will
that,
get
it
there,
doesn't
but
matter.
right.
Yeah, we just want everybody to get it. And the way like with the batters, like how many numbers are, it's like you can't just give everybody like 2 ABs and then cycle in everybody, because it's just, it doesn't line up like that, and you also don't know how many like runs and stuff you're gonna score, so you can't really count. But whatever, it usually works out. Sorry,
I think that's
I can't read and
honestly.
talk. Where's Griff? I'll
I
give you
think
Griff. No,
honestly that's
sorry.
kind of it in terms of like pure league updates. It sounds short, but like there's just a lot of work involved in getting all of those things together. Like it's
Every scrim is about 5 hours of my life, just so everybody knows. And to me,
and
that's
like even
like that's worth it when for 40 people. It's not worth it for 2 people. Please keep that in mind.
and also like it's not just us as well. Like the people who are helping us with the All-Star break and stuff are like in terms of um whoever suggested their exhibition game is choosing to help us. And they've made almost all of them made their own signups and stuff, and like they need to get together a long list of things like logos for each team, team abbreviations, team rosters. They need to figure out who's starting, do they want to do positions, where do they want to play, etc., etc. The All-Star break is probably the biggest. Hi, Andre. um it's probably the biggest, busiest time of the year for us in pure volume. um Recruitment then is a whole other beast, but the All-Star break is the most visible busy time for us, basically. Does anyone have anything else? Or is that kind of it on the pure updates front?
Um, the only thing after that is confidence votes for 13,
Yes, there's confidence votes in 13.
13 right after the All-Star game.
but
Oh, and
we'll all forget about that until like, like literally everybody in this server will ignore that until like 2 days before, which is how it always goes. Cause like right
Oh
after a
crap!
bunch of stuff happening.
and then one other thing is in terms of the moderator replacement slash installation election. To be honest and transparent, we are taking our time and going slowly with it. I believe we should have something out on Monday. Is that correct, Stupito?
Yeah, I think we'll open signups on Monday.
We'll probably open signups on Monday, but do not anticipate it to be a quick process. We are taking our time. We are basically taking as long as the rule book permits us, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Um,
Yeah, I'll just be real with anybody who, if you want to discuss that, like, I don't know, with me personally, I don't want to talk about it until we are in it. I'm sorry.
yes.
I won't lie to anybody. I'm fucking upset. Like I have been for,
Shit sucks.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Shit fucking sucks ass.
cross that bridge later.
Indeed. So yeah, just wanted to give an update for anyone who was curious. Um, we are terminally aware of the fucking position. We are like very aware that it needs to be filled, but we are taking our time with it. We are not in a rush to fill it. So, yeah. Um, I think that's it on the update.
We,
Pure updates front.
we might have it filled out in time for the confidence votes.
Yeah. Just in time for the first, just in time for the person to be confidence voted out because hey, you haven't done
Man,
anything as a
we
moderator.
should select someone just to try just to run the fucking
Who's the funniest? Who's the
vote them out
funniest person
campaign a day
possibly?
later.
Who's the funniest? All right, guys, I've got an idea. Bobby for moderator.
He's not
Thoughts?
old enough.
Exactly. We make a moderator and then confidence vote him out because he's not old
Oh,
enough.
because he's not old enough. That's a good.
Exactly.
I like it.
Um. Okay. Um. I think that's that.
That's that.
Just to double check, anything else, or are we good?
I think that's it.
Good.
All right. Um. The other main thing we wanted to discuss was the survey. So, as some of you are probably aware, we ran the survey again this season, mid-season, so to speak, just to get some ideas about demographics, but also, um, common, I won't say rule change, common rule changes that get brought up, by people. Last season, we were really focused on pace of play. This season, we were more so focused on roster construction and roster rules as a whole, um, along with some questions on recruiting. Um, I think the best thing for us to do is probably I will post each of the graphs in announcements channel and talk about them as we go. What do you guys think? Is that's probably the best approach? Do you
I
think?
can put them on the screen too.
Yeah, if you put them on the stream, if you put them on the stream, and then I'll talk about them. I'll put them in I'll put them all in the announcement channel afterwards.
Okay.
Um,
Let me grab
start
just those.
start at age range, country, and time zone because they're and debut season because they're the easiest ones.
Okay, you said a debut season.
If you click on the spreadsheet itself and scroll down to the copy one, the
Is it?
all the graphs are there, and it's
Oh, thank you. I have it like
top top and then bottom and left and right is the order of questions.
I had it minimized, so or like
You're
partial
all good.
screen.
You're all good. Now, guys, you're only getting the highest quality of graphs from us, okay?
Yeah.
These took me a long time in sheets to make, okay? You're gonna have to forgive me.
Okay. Have them pulled up for you. Let me make sure Hank is not covering them.
There's images in Discord. I put images in Discord of them all, so you can just open up the links.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
No, you're all good.
Okay. I'm gonna pull up Debut season and age range. Open browser. Age range.
So yeah, so this is kind of just was a pretty big, and for context, we had 63 responses to the survey. So pretty decent sample of MLR. Um, in terms of debut season and age range, the league is definitely trending more and more towards um we all get older as time goes on, guys.
But
What?
I was old
I
when I
know,
started.
I know, heartbreaking stuff, guys. I know. Um, so yeah, there's honestly not a whole lot to talk about here. Just wanted to kind of show the graphs off. I think it's interesting that some seasons really lasted a long time. Um, like there's the same amount of season 7 players as season 8 players. There's this same amount of season 3 players as season 4. It's like people have just stuck around. Um, but yeah, those are there if anyone's curious. But it kind of makes sense. Except season 6. Season 6 got murked, man. There's only one season 6 person. That's wild. Um,
Who hurt you?
They
so
just don't
yeah,
care
those
about our
debut
forums.
seasons. Yeah, they just don't care about our forms.
Yeah.
They're too busy
They're
doing
free
whatever
spirits.
people in season 6 do. Yeah, yeah.
Alright, I have the other ones ready to go for whatever order we want. Wheeler, take note of the age range for boomer zoomers. Because I will say,
Yes, this is
like, after this year, there would definitely will have to make a shift because there's like 900 fucking old people and like 5 kids. Hank Cam is not going right now, although that's because I put my webcam away because I've been using my work laptop webcam for work. My cat is
actually
here.
Wheeler, we were actually discussing we had an idea of maybe doing like a like what the I called it Four Nations, but that is what it's called in the NHL. What did they call it in the NHL? It was Four Nations, right?
That sounds right.
I don't know.
Where we basically do under 20 is 20 to 29, 30 to 39, and 40 plus. Four Nations face off. That's what it was. I knew it was something like that. And like have a four-way tournament between the age ranges and shorten the games. And yeah, that might just be an idea to do for the future as well.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's
yeah, that's
valid.
fine. Yeah, that's fine. We expected
No, that's
that.
understandable. I get it.
Yeah,
No, I
we
get
get
it.
that. Honestly,
Um,
if you would have just been like, yeah, cool, sounds good to me, I would have been like, okay, so we need to drive to Florida because
so
somebody
Wheeler got
stole
eaten
Wheeler.
by a
Yeah,
skin
somebody
eater.
stole
That's
Wheeler.
not good. Wheeler got eaten by a
Bobbert and
skin
I
eater.
were
That's not
were
good.
playing this game the other night. I can't even fucking remember what it's called, but you own a gas station and you gotta try to get the doppelgangers, and you gotta try to make sure that the doppelgangers don't leave. So you gotta like check people's stuff, and that's Wheeler if he didn't push back against something, even if he agrees. Ox gun
And
agreed.
Andre, we do have active season 1 members. I just don't think any of them filled out the form.
Yeah, it's
Shout out Milo. I know Milo's from
yeah,
season 1. Milo won MVP in season 1, and he's around all the time. So, yeah, dude, we just didn't have a season 1 person
yeah,
fill out the form. They're probably sick of telling us our fucking opinion, our
yeah.
opinions,
Yeah,
to be
they
honest.
They're
But
like
realize their
I've
opinion doesn't matter anymore.
yeah. They're
their
like
opinion
I've
doesn't matter. They're old men at this point. Their opinions don't matter.
yeah.
Um. Okay, so yeah. We
Actually, it's
can
probably
move
because
on
they're
to the
all
next
Reddit
one.
only players and
That's true.
didn't
Yeah,
see
a
the
lot of
form
them
at
are
all.
only players.
Or they're just like, I've told these motherfuckers 90 times. It doesn't matter if I submit this again. What graph would you like next, Moss?
You can go to the countries and there's another one that's like blue. Where's the thing? Time zone as well. Because the time zone one especially was really surprising to me.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get rid of these and we will. This is the countries. And this is time zone.
So yeah, so countries, some of my favorite countries in the world, guys. We have the USA, Canada, Central Europe, Singapore, and Australia. However, I do want to highlight that we got some incredible very that this would be great if everyone wrote out the USA, but you and I both know that didn't happen. Actually made up a list. I made a list of all of the different ways we were told the USA. So we were told, we were given all uppercase USA, all uppercase US, all lowercase US, uppercase U, lowercase SA, um, uppercase Murica, lowercase Murica, America, fuck yeah, United States, and the United War Criminal States of America. So great job, everybody. That was 10
That's
different variations of how to say the US.
that's
How did you
literally
all
the
accomplish
only
it?
way I would expect a bunch of fucking Americans to answer that question. By the way,
On truly like unbelievable.
truly inspiring.
In terms of time zones, I know EST is the best time zone, but I did not think that two-thirds of the people responding to the survey would be in EST.
Yeah,
Um, it is, it's honestly insane to me, that there's that many people in EST relative to everything else. I get the only sign of civilization past CST is California, but like still, um,
I mean, if you look at the population of the United States, it really does pretty much track. Like
I know it's
it's
wild to
just
me.
wild to see on the graph for sure. Like, and just that it carries over even to things like this. But it literally is like there's the most people in Eastern, and then there's like a good little chunk in Central, and then a much smaller portion on the West Coast. It is better, Bobby. You're right. There's just less of us.
Um, so yeah, that's that. I think can you get up the other leagues graph, and then
Yep.
from there we can talk about the kind of more in-depth graphs about actual like survey results, so to speak, of rule changes. So this is the graph of other leagues played by MLR players. Now, you will notice there are more responses to this than there are people who responded on to the survey. That's because the way that the survey was made, people can respond multiple times, and if I take everyone's responses, some of the responses will be MLN, comma, FCBB, which isn't much use. So I wrote out every single response as a one line, so that's why there's more. Um,
What was the second one you said you wanted?
for now, I think just leave it at this one,
Okay.
and then we will get up the four green and red ones about
Okay.
actual results
Yeah,
next.
I have those ready.
So in terms of popularity, according to this, about a third of players play MLN, about a third of players play Gib, and then from there it's FCFB, Fake Cricket, which Brick will be delighted about, and did ask me to say that they will be starting season 6, I think, soon. 7? Season 7. They'll be starting season 7 too. He wanted me to mention that. So if anyone's interested in cricket, it's quite fun. I'm in it.
And I think
Um,
isn't Twat in it too? There's a fair few of
there's a couple. Yeah,
there.
there's
Yeah,
a fair
there's
few of us.
a
There's
fair
a fair
few.
few of us in there. But yeah, you're so funny, Charles. You're so fucking funny. So yeah, that's that. And then there's PBE, there's SSL, which honestly I've never heard of. There's SHL, which there's Fake F1, which I'm in. NCBCA, and one person did respond with Y. I did want to include that one because I thought it was yeah.
Whoever you are, please tell
God
us.
bless you.
God bless you.
I mean, if you want your answer, the reason why is it is helpful for us to know where the player base comes from because so long as we don't share a lot of the players, like for example, we share a lot of players with MLN and Gib for obvious reasons, but like I mean, we share a lot of players with FCFB too, but it's more of an esoteric connection, so it makes sense for us to collaborate with FCFB more. It makes sense for like if we have someone who's in SHL, and it'll get referenced later too. It makes sense for us to like maybe reach out to these places where we have people already playing to see if there's more people we can pull from those places. So that's why we asked this question, basically.
Yeah,
And also, it's just interesting to see.
we have to have
Yeah,
somebody
sim
there
hockey
to
league. Yeah, yeah.
post in their Discord.
So yeah, that's other leagues. That's like our quote unquote demographic section. Um, if you could, you honestly, you can probably pull up the four of them because it's the same result, but it's still interesting to mention. Or just do two at a time if it's too much hassle. I don't mind.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so um, going over the questions we asked regarding roster sizes. In terms, for starters, all of them were no, which Fork founded Kitchen. Um, however, primarily I wanted to talk about um, with regards to roster sizes. Almost everyone who did respond about changing the roster size did make reference to making rosters smaller. I think there was only one or two who actually wanted to make roster sizes bigger. Another thing that people mentioned was removing pinch at GM, um, because it basically just means that our roster sizes are one bigger by default. Um, we more than likely won't look at it too much. And also, I do think it's important for us to mention too, we don't have direct control over all of these things. This is these are all committee things, but we think it's valuable to get data on it because if 80% of people wanted catcher numbers, it's a lot easier for us to go to committee and say, hey guys, can we do a vote on catcher numbers because 80% of the league wants it, and then we can discuss in committee how we want to implement it rather than us coming up with it from scratch and committee going, oh, we don't think people will like that, or we don't think that's a good idea. If we can go there with some solid numbers, um, it helps get things through committee or not, etc.
That kind of goes for anybody too. Like
Yeah, that goes for anyone. If
anybody doing
anyone
it,
wants
yeah.
to run a poll,
Well, and
go
just
for it.
any proposal in general, right? Of like, it's a lot easier to like write something to say you want to change roster sizes when you see like, okay, like people that I talk to want that, and like there was a survey that said like, at least 50% of people want that. So then if you get a response that's just like nobody wants that, that's not really true. Somebody can say their team doesn't want it. That can be true. But you can't really say that it's everybody. And that just goes for
And
anything.
the best example we
Less
can give of that
discouragement.
is pace of play is like something that a couple of people always reference as the league's biggest problem. And
In
when we surveyed
surveys.
it last
In
season,
surveys.
yeah, even in surveys they mention it. And last season when we surveyed it, 80% of people said pace of play was fine. And so when someone says that everyone thinks pace of play is an issue, that's some bias of your own opinion. It's kind of not the case. Most people actually think pace of play is fine. Um, and I do think there is an element that people are going to say things are fine because there's nothing wrong with it, even if it could be improved.
Yeah,
But that's a
yeah.
different question slash issue entirely. Um, I
Also
do
just be
think
more
it might
specific.
be.
In
Oh,
that
go on.
case, it's
Sorry.
like, are you like complaining about something is different than like this needs overhauled completely. That's why it's like it's fine if you're like, oh, this was slow or it feels slow this week or something, but that's like a different question than like, do you think that this is a problem? Which is why there can be like a discrepancy between those two, which is fine, but it's like just context.
Yeah, I do think maybe with the numbers that are there, it might be worth exploring catcher numbers a little bit, just because I think 50-50 is like enough of a split that it might be worth a discussion. But the others, clearly, people don't want to change roster sizes. They don't want to make positions less restrictive, or more restrictive, either or. Um, and they don't want to remove the requirements. So people have spoken. That is fine by us. We just wanted to gather data to be able to say whether we should be pushing for these changes or not.
Which also doesn't
Um,
necessarily like, it's just one of those things where it's stuff that gets brought up. It's not like actual, like if somebody tomorrow put a proposal for like roster size, like going down by one, like it very well, like this it has no determination on something like that. It's just like a vibe check.
yeah, like if someone wants to write a proposal to reduce roster sizes, we will put it on the agenda and it will go to committee for a discussion. Like
Someone should do that.
the only reason we will not put something on the agenda for committee is if it's like just straight up written incorrectly.
Yeah,
Like we will
legitimately.
not have personal bias of I think that's stupid. I'm not putting it up for a vote.
Or
That's
like
not how it works.
we just discussed this and like 60 people said
Yeah,
they disagree with you. Like, I don't know. Anybody who submitted a proposal knows that I always just say, "Sounds good, thanks."
I think personally I've only rejected one proposal ever, and that was because it was a rusty shitpost proposal that wasn't even formatted
I don't
correctly.
even
Like,
fucking read them. I literally immediately copy the link and post that shit. It's actually fucked me over once or twice where I go and I look and I'm just like, wait, like this isn't even bitches.
Well, I know how to
um,
get you in the next week.
Yeah, literally. If you send me shit like that and you just say something like you know what you're talking about, I will just go do it and then think about it later. You can get me really fucking good. Like, I just be signing shit.
so yeah, that's it in terms of kind of our graphs and like our quantifiable results. Other than that, um, I went through all the responses. Um, I picked out ones that were either recurring responses or particularly of interest. Um, so
I'm gonna take
we
these graphs
will
down.
go through
Sorry.
them. I don't know if we're going to get through them all because I do know Stupido is a little time gated because Walmart is calling. Um, so we've got about 20 minutes. We got about 20 minutes. So we will go
I'll give
through
you
as
30.
much as we can. Okay, sounds good.
To be fair, it didn't help that I was
Um,
like a good 15 minutes late.
nah, it's fine. It happens. So, I will read out the kind of the question that it was referring to, and then I will read out the response. So, this was in response to the, so this is specifically from the GMs. It was, do you have any issues or comments you'd like to raise pertaining to MLR leadership as a whole? The results for catcher numbers draw was 30 yes, 31 no. So about 50-50. Um, so yeah, from GMs, do they have any issues pertaining to MLR leadership? And someone suggested that they would love if MLR leadership would check in with each GM at least once a season to check in on things. Because there might be a suggestion they don't want to share in main or see things differently that is better in a one-on-one basis. We briefly discussed this before getting online, but I think it's a pretty good idea that I
Hmm.
Yeah.
honestly never thought of before. Um,
I think
we'd
t-
likely. Oh, go on. Sorry.
I think too, I was thinking about that because yeah, like Tomas said, when he sent it, we were all like, "Oh, yeah, we can do that." Like it's like one of those things where I was like, I feel like sometimes I'm like concerned about like bothering GMs and stuff because like we do like have to ping you for stuff or like post like announcements and shit of like stats are gonna close for all-star breaks, like the session's starting, even when like a lot of people know that shit, like you know it's starting but that morning, like you know what I mean, like you get a lot of shit where it's just like routine sort of like pings and stuff. So I feel like we also like really don't want to like bother people and just like fucking spam you and blow you up. But yeah,
So
that's why I
yeah,
think it maybe didn't occur to just like also just like BS with the GMs every, once a season, a couple times a year, and just check in.
um, so yeah, that's a good idea. We'll more than likely implement that. Whether it's one season, that is the thing. I don't think anyone's actually ever truly annoyed by the LOM pings. I think everyone's just larping that it's annoying.
Yeah, but still, it's like one of
But
those,
it's so fun. It's so fun. Um,
it's like I always feel
so
bad
yeah,
when I'm
that's
like trying to
probably
do
something we'll
something. It's
do.
like fucking midnight Eastern. I'm just like, but like I need to do that anyways. I don't know.
I calc for what it's worth, guys. I got these questions and put the survey results together at 5 a.m. Eastern. So yeah. Um, so yeah, that was a good one. In terms of people in general referring to leadership, one response we got was good on the whole. Um, I don't really know what some of them work on to know if they're doing a good job or not, and that LOM has absorbed some of the other positions' work, which is concerning from a balance and burnout standpoint. I definitely think this is a fair point. Um, I'm honestly, I honestly don't really have anything to say beyond that. I think it's a fair point. I think that with the nature of the progression of the technology in the league, like the tech guy is like Bob, for example, like Bobbert is kind of there as honestly more tech support than actually running things specifically, just because everything is stable and settled now. So like a lot of the sheets work is relatively simple and it's easier as LOM to just do it ourselves than go ask someone else to do something that takes us 5 minutes. On the other hand, if we're doing 10 things that take 5 minutes, then it takes an hour.
Yeah, but
So it's
also
trying
like
to find the balance between those.
there used to be like a sheets person, and like the stats person kind of was that, but like that was because there was way more like work involved, and like now our stats person, especially our new person, is more of like the website person. So it like also is kind
Yeah.
of an ebb and flow depending on like who knows what to do. Like Tomas was saying with Bobbert, like he doesn't have to like do something every session to make sure that it starts like Teddy and I. But like what Teddy has to do every session like really isn't like to start it. It is like a couple minutes of effort. Same with me. There's like other things, et cetera, et cetera. But like if the fucking Volter server goes like haywire and is being annoying, then like Bauer has to kind of answer and fix that shit right away, and like has.
Hmm.
um, so yeah, like,
So I think it's a valid
mm-hmm.
concern.
But all
And I definitely think
yeah,
there's a couple, like, for example, realistically, I probably could give transactions to someone, for example. Um, it's just, but at the same time, to be honest with you, and this is kind of me more thinking off the top of my head, we kind of do transactions a bit strange because Dayman is the primary person who does like the back end of transactions, and then I do the front end of transactions. It probably should be the same person doing them, but
yeah.
it's
It
been going this way for almost a year and a half, two
there's like
years. How long? Oh, whatever.
yeah, whatever it is. Well,
Been a
it's
while.
also because like not everything in transaction log like goes in transactions. Like we don't put
That's
like
the other thing.
we don't
Yes,
put name changers in there. Like we don't put like hiatuses and like there's a bunch of shit in there that like doesn't need to go in the actual like league transactions. So
I do the front. I do the
yeah,
front end, Bobby. I'm the one who actually posts in like the transactions channel.
yeah, like the channel that yeah, it literally just says transactions and just has like like the player name and like the team emoji and stuff is Tomas.
Um.
But yeah,
So
so it's
yeah.
like And the same thing with like awards. Like Mark really does like 95% of it. It's just like this like couple week period where like cuz like we have to set up the sheets and stuff, and also it's just and like
Also, Mark
we
is on vacation
he happens
currently,
to be
so
on
that's
vacation
why
right
we're
now, but
taking, yeah, that's why we're taking a couple little bit extra of the All-Star break stuff this time round. But like Mark does, in fairness, 95% of awards
all the
things.
every week and stuff. Like I literally just set them up for him, and that is like pretty much our hand in it too, especially with like the All-Star game ballot and stuff. Like I just set up like the vote counter, like because it's really complicated to count from the fucking Google form and like all that sort of shit. Also this year too, which like that's why this comment I really liked because I think some of it is just like that there is kind of an ebb and flow to like what people work on, so it can get kind of confusing, and then you're like, I don't really know who and what. Um, so I think that's good to like talk about like what we were just saying. But like this year, some other people are gonna make the All Star Game graphics, which really is something that like I did it one year because we were in like a time crunch and we had swapped stuff over and it was like the first time we were doing stuff. And then last year we split it up between some people cuz it's like it's so much work actually to
So
make
much, yeah.
the All-Star game like little graphics like because you have to there's like first, second, and same thing with end of season awards. There's like first, second, and third, and you want to put their like the person's profile picture and stuff on there, but then you also have to put like their team colors and that and blah blah. Like it takes forever. It legitimately to make 30 All Star graphics takes like yeah exactly and like I remember the first time I was doing it, I just made 3-second gifs of everyone, and it was literally just a PowerPoint slide that was just blank, and then the profile picture and just a blank colored background of your team color would fly in, and then just like your name and the stats in your team hex code, the other one. Just doing that for every single person. That literally was like 3 whole days of just like multiple hours. Like it's
yes,
takes forever. So I know. I think
yeah, and I made the graphics when I made the graphics in season 9. It took me, I think I counted it out. I think in total it took me 32 hours to make all of
yeah.
the graphics for season 9. Now, granted, the season 9 graphics had a different had a another backup, which was that was kind of the basis for how we ended up with the gifs for the on base
Mm-hmm.
stuff. They got co-opted into that, but nonetheless, All Star Graphics is like a very big
And so
undertaking.
yeah, stuff like that is like the stuff that needs to be farmed out, sort of to like break that like holy shit, I have so much going on. Because like I know earlier I was like talking about the scrims and stuff, but like truly I actually enjoy doing that and like coordinating it because like everybody has such a good time and like literally every single person like you can get like 200 people playing in like 2 to 5 games having a super good time. That is like totally worth whatever amount of time that takes for me. Like the cost benefit analysis there is like so worth it. But then when you're
Yeah,
just sitting there
because
making a graphic over and over again where you're like, this is cool and everything, and like, when you went like I was an all-star and you're like, yeah, I want a fucking graphic, but also I'm just like, Jesus fuck, dude. Like
yeah, like the big thing, like the exhibition announcement, the exhibition games were kind of like they were introduced in season 9 because I remember because it was right when I became LOM, and I remember the biggest complaint people had at the time was All Star Break was boring because yay, like 30, 40 players get to play in the All Star Break, and the other 500 members of the league get to do nothing but sit around and wait. And so the idea was, why don't we just come up with stupid, silly game ideas and have them play games simultaneously? And I got a little bit too ambitious the first time around. I solo hosted 8 games. Guys, don't do it. It's a bad idea. It's a terrible idea. It's awful. It's terrible. It's terrible. Um, but now we've a better system. We've a couple more seasons of experience. It's not just me. It's Dayman and I, and we also get the actual GMs to help more instead of just, yeah. Well, you put in a substitution for this person. Um, So
And
yeah, we have
thank
a bit of a
God,
better system going.
Stupido usually coordinates any of the the live game and all that sort of stuff, which is so
Um,
helpful.
yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that's kind of just like our perspective on the burnout thing is like we do have more quote unquote responsibilities, but all of the responsibilities combined probably take around the same amount of time as previously. And also there's an ebb and flow to who has different responsibilities and different positions. So yeah, it's kind of a finicky thing. I do think it's fair that we take on a lot of work, but I do think that it's work that we can take on, and maybe other LOM teams might approach it differently, but
I also think
this is
it's
our approach.
I also think it's just one of those things where it's just good in the sense of just to keep in mind, even if it was one way or the other, just we for just everybody to know too, of we constantly talk about that and are kind of trying figuring out, and whenever we're discussing how to do something, of splitting it up and stuff and seeing who's super busy, who has time and shit. There's so many times where I'm just okay, we need to get these things done, or go post these things, but I'm super busy right now, and you can either do it later or somebody can do it now. Blah blah blah. We That's a lot of
Yeah, like
what goes
taking a
into
super
this.
basic example, if you go back across the season, I would say Damon's probably done like six of the session announcements, and then Stupido and I have probably done two because sometimes Damon's just busy and then we just do them instead. Like
Yeah,
it's just something as simple as that.
yeah.
Um,
Or the
so
session
yeah,
ends in the middle of the workday, and then it's just well, who's somewhere that they're doing
who's
this.
home?
Yeah, who's
Yeah.
not working?
Mm-hmm.
It's me. I work from home. I'm the one who works from home. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
So we
that's
we think about that stuff, and yeah, I don't know.
okay. So these next bunch we'll probably go through them a little quicker because there's a little less to talk about. But this is specifically just for the question of, do you have any other issues or comments you'd like to raise pertaining to MLR as a whole? So this was kind of just a grab bag of people saying things. One person said less recruitment. The past draft was fine. All I'm gonna say is I think you're in the minority.
But hell yeah,
Um,
thank you. Fuck yeah.
Right?
I appreciate
We
the
did it.
optimism. I do appreciate the optimism. Someone said the new Discord icon is terrible. Personally, I don't think it's terrible. I think the small changes that were made to it in towards the end have made it much better. And if you, the last thing I'll say is if you truly think it's terrible, it's only temporary.
Because they're just
Does
gonna update
anything,
it
anyone have
again.
anything else to say to that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Someone said make slow teams play faster.
Hell yeah, okay.
Um,
We'll
what
do
I'll
that.
say to that is there's a couple of things to address with that. One, as I said, pace of play on the most part is not really doesn't seem to be an issue for most people. Two, I'm not gonna pick specific teams, but I of teams that we would consider slow, I don't think there's very many. And of the ones that are, I think they basically all have a valid reason for it. And three, there isn't really a mechanic we can use to make teams play faster because there is no, like we discussed this just before getting on the call, but the only real way we could like make slow teams play faster is one, reduce sessions to 7 days, which I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to get pitchforked. And two, add an incentive to play faster rather than a disincentive, something like making pace of play a tiebreaker. But that gets too messy and too finicky.
Yeah, you can't
We
actually
don't
attack.
really,
It'd be unfair.
we couldn't really like time zone wise, like if a team has a lot of Europeans, like you're gonna just punish them because they have a lot of Europeans and overnight timers, and do we want to make exceptions to overnight timers? And then we go down this long rabbit hole and make a bunch of changes to the bot. for four teams who are a little slower than every other team.
Just to still
Um,
finish sessions at 10 days.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like speed in. Truly, it is one of those things where I think of it as like it's like speed in. Like you speed past somebody, like or somebody speeds past you, and then you literally just end up at the red light right behind them 10 minutes later. It's just like you didn't make up any time. Like
The fastest team gets pick 32. I'm not hopping on Valorant, Bobby. I have stuff to do. Sorry. Someone said they need a positivity rabbit in the player room. Now, that's not what I would have referred to Milo as, but sure. I mean, he is a rabbit in his profile picture, I suppose. Um,
Come on,
no.
sucks at Valorant. You don't
I'm
want him
not
on your
gonna lie.
team.
I actually have for this one, I don't really have a good response because I'm not in the player channel because I'm a GM and I'm not
Oh,
allowed in the player channel.
wait. I don't.
You're not either. Only Stupido's the only
I
LOL.
am.
Wait.
I might,
Why the
but
fuck can't
I'm a
I
free
see
agent.
that channel?
We can because we're not moderators. So the moderators are the only ones who can see every channel. I don't think any of the three
But
of
I'm a
us can see the
player.
Because it's
player. Can you see the player channel, or are all three of us restricted from the player channel? It'd be hilarious if that's the case.
No, but I've been
if I
thinking.
am in there, I have it muted.
I've been thinking about this for. I've thought about this before actually. This has been brought up. I feel like I should be able to. I don't care, but I'm just saying in principle. I'm not a GM. It's probably just it's just
Um,
the LOM role just
Probably
doesn't
low roll doesn't
automatically
have it.
add you into it, but I'm just because they're
yeah.
always GMs anyways, so it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying like,
It's
yeah,
all
it is.
willingness of
It
player
is the
from there.
server owner is the Rob Manfred shared account,
Yeah.
but that's
Um.
yeah, and then
Yeah,
FCB
I'm not.
is
I
the same.
honestly don't have a great response to that one. I just wanted to include it because I thought it was an interesting idea that I've literally never thought of before. Because I haven't thought of the player channel, unless it's Milo saying "suck my elephant cock." Elephant trunk cock. My apologies. I didn't want to get the quote wrong. Um, Someone said, I think it would be beneficial to the community if during the confidence votes period, each OTC member would post a blurb about what they've been doing slash working on. Actually, this is a pretty good idea.
You can also ask
Um,
them
Yeah,
uh, that is the thing.
yourself.
Like, you can also ask the person. Um, I think it's something that it might be worthwhile discussing. With some of the OCC if it's something we want to do. So I'm not going to commit to it and say that we'll do it, but I think it's a good idea. I do actually think it's a pretty decent idea, but
Yeah, I'm not against it.
uh,
Just
we will discuss it because I also, that's an OOTC thing, not an LOM thing. It's not really our place to say, hey, every single person of OOTC, you need to post a blurb. So it will be kind of an internal discussion amongst OOTC rather than LOM. And we may do that, we may not, we will see. Someone said, I feel like there's so many interesting things we could do with MILR rather than just haha more playing time in the exact same game. I agree. However, I think that what people want out of MILR has evolved, and I think that unfortunately, well, depending on your perspective, for me personally, unfortunately, I think people do just want more playing time in the same game. I think, and but with different rosters, and they get to meet new people, and they get to go with different branding and be a bit more quirky. That's my opinion of what people seem to want in MILR. Um, what do you guys think?
my counterpoint to that is I would just say that's why we should have fake Pioneer League.
I do think I think it would be worth what I think what Gib does is interesting. Um in many facets. Um, Having the different ranges and stuff. Like I think it would be interesting if we had a league to test rule changes.
That's what I'm
I'm gonna
saying.
say physically. I'm gonna say physically, but you know what I mean. Um, like we could try out. Gavin is not immortal. Stop this shit, Charles. Um, we could try out catcher numbers. We can try out
That's what I'm
different
saying.
ranges for types. Yeah, and I think it's worthwhile to do a World Baseball Classic. Yeah, we could. We honestly we
Like,
could run a side tournament. I've always long wanted to do a cup. I'm getting a bit off topic here, but I long wanted to do like a cup that ran simultaneously with MLR. Like in soccer, the way they have the
yeah,
Premier League and then the
yeah.
FA Cup. Um, yeah, that could be a thing. We could
Nah,
do that.
I'm just over
The
here.
biggest issue we have is right now with Reddit, they won't let us get new tokens. So if we had a second bot running, probably wouldn't be able to run it through Reddit. Um, so there's some technical sides. If there's something where we manually try things, it's going to be a lot, well, a lot easier to get going, a lot harder to run because now you're needing to be
Easier
able
to
to
run
do
on
it.
a small scale, harder to run on a large scale.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's kind of, I mean, we used to even have a test bot that we use. That's where I would push any changes and we would test it there before we brought it over to the league. But even that token has been taken away and we can't get it. So now I have to do testing on the live bot, which is always fun.
Yeah.
And that ties into the next comment, which was we should look into moving to Discord soon. I think it's better to be ahead of the game than caught scrambling on it. Um, this is a difficult one because it's hard to fundamentally move to Discord when the game itself is called Major League Reddit Ball. Um, and like this sounds stupid, but like MLR is MLR. It is always going to be MLR. And unless you want to change it to MLD, which isn't going to go down well, I'm not sure from a branding perspective how we would change MLR to be Discord only. I mean, to be honest with you, it kind of already is Discord only. Like, it's not Discord only. Like, we have the capability. You can play MLR entirely on Discord. I know I was shadow banned for 6 months and I was fine. We have the capability for non-Reddit people to play on MLR or to play MLR on Discord only. So my response to this person is when it comes to moving to Discord, like the game is already fully playable without Reddit. Um, in terms of like actually interacting with the game, we would have to change the front end so that it's entirely Discord based rather than reliant on waiting for the Reddit ping and then posting stuff to the Discord.
But
However, if something goes wrong, I think it is something we could do.
yeah,
We
like,
wouldn't have to scramble super hard.
yeah.
Yeah, if for some reason Reddit went down, for whatever reason we decided we're no longer using Reddit, I would say a week max to essentially we just have to pull out all the work that is in Reddit because, like I said, everything is pretty much doable in Discord. It already even posts updates to team channels. The
Yeah.
only thing we would have to take out is watching Reddit for new posts and posting to Reddit.
It's
And there's
like,
some stuff there with, when we start a new session, we're creating sheets for all of that, and those sheets create Reddit threads. We'd have to take that part out and make sure that the sheets aren't relying on that Reddit thread. Or bot,
yeah.
doesn't care that the Reddit thread's not there. Kind of
And
things like that that would take some.
yeah, just ironing some of that. And then it's like,
But the
then
but
it's
the
just
league wouldn't be out of
organization.
commission
Yeah.
for 3 months as we tried to
Mm-mm.
figure things out.
Like,
But
the
I don't know that it's worth that work right now. I enjoy going to Reddit sometimes and seeing the
same.
threads and things, and so I don't know that
But like,
that's.
if someone's just concerned about that, like truly, like Stupido said, all that stuff, and then even at the like even quickly, just the quick dirty way is you make a bunch of channels that nobody can post in, and the bot just posts the front end stuff there instead of a Reddit thread. All your box
Yep.
store stuff is there, and then you just swing through the fucking bot, and the stuff comes in through the webhook. Boom, done. So if you're really
And you can
concerned,
bunt, you
there's
can pitch, you can pull the
yeah,
infield in, you can do. I don't think there's this. I think now that bunting was added to Discord, I don't think there's a single thing you can't do on Discord. Is that correct? If you don't want to say that
Uh,
definitively, that's fine. But
I won't say definitively because I'm sure there's an edge case, but we have swinging, yes, pitching, yes, GM work, yes,
stealing,
steal,
yes,
multi
all of
steal,
this
yes,
stuff.
all
bunting,
those.
yes, infield in, yes. I don't think there's anything that is Reddit only at this
GM
point.
steals don't work on Discord or on Reddit though.
We would right.
They don't
A
work on
lot of
Reddit
things
because
don't work on.
it's looking for your account. It can't tell if you're the GM or not. They only work on Discord in DMs.
And is that Joel mentioning the
Yeah,
GM steals? That is something on my list to just kind of fix all of that GM
yeah.
work and just how all that stuff works because a lot of it was just pieced in there and may not be the most intuitive or the best way to do it. So those are things on the long ass to do list.
It definitely is like fucky. Literally when Isaac did that, he literally said like it's weird. Like it was and it was messed up, and he just like kind of got it working. Like it there was a really funny conversation with him and Penguino about it once. Is I always go and like look back at it whenever I need to tell somebody how to GM steal. Anyways,
I think so we've one last bit in here. There's two in the rosters, and I think we'll leave recruitment ideas to either another time or maybe just me and David go over them. I'll try and get through these two quick for you, Speedo.
Let's do it.
One person said that they hate how closed off some teams are in the league. Um, it doesn't feel like they get to explore a bunch of options if they were to leave their team. Tons of teams have a negative connotation that they don't think are true. And that it's weird to join the league like that. I think that's honestly a fair criticism. That's very difficult to work around because some teams just kind of, I know this sounds shitty to say, but some teams have their own culture and that culture is closed off. Um,
for reasons
and
that
there
were
isn't,
many
for
years before any
reasons,
of us.
yeah, that are many years beforehand. And I don't think it's fair to force them, like mandate them to
Like
be more
draft a certain
open
amount
if
of people or like do something. I don't even know. Like whatever, you know.
because it would be one thing if they were rostering John Otto, who autos 17 times a season, but like these teams are for the most part rostering the same people, but those same people show up, they swing, they don't slow the league down, they just do their thing. Um,
Even if they were rostering John Otto, who autos all the time, there are rules that will eventually kick John Otto off their team.
yeah, that's kind of like what I'm getting at. Like there's not dumbass who deafened himself. There's not many mechanics or like rule changes we can make that aren't just herder LOM is forcing me to talk to other people, which isn't really fair. Like,
Or just forcing people to
they
step down when they've done nothing but have
they're
everybody
they're not
do
doing
well.
anything wrong. They haven't broken any rules. They're just have their own team clubhouse, chugging along the same as it's always been. That's not against the rules. It's not against the rules in real sports. Um, I mean, you can run your clubhouse how you want as long as it follows the rules, but it's not like there's rules in that your clubhouse has to be particularly open to other people, etc. Like it's difficult to there isn't really a fair way of navigating closed off teams.
And it's
Now, with regards to teams that have negative connotations, I think that is also another fair criticism. Um, and I think it's gotten better. I think at least I can't attest to private conversations, but I think that teams that often had negative connotations due to previous league events, I think for the most part, at least newer players, for obvious reasons, have moved on and they don't have issues with these teams. And even if someone is to come up to them and say, "Oh, X team sucks because of Y," I don't think people
Go,
long
oh,
term
yeah, that
hate a
makes
team.
sense. They just go, that's a weird thing to say at me. Like,
Um, okay, if it happened last season and it's particularly terrible, fine. But it's like, oh, this season, this team did this in season four. It's like,
yeah, like that.
okay,
Yeah, so
that
that's,
was in 2020.
yeah.
It is 2026.
I feel like also, like, to this
Um,
one,
yeah.
it's a much different conversation when, if it's like, there are a bunch of teams who are closed off or like don't interact with people because they feel X, Y, or Z, rather than like there's just some teams that are like that because it works for them and that group of people is just more introverted or whatnot or blah blah. Like those are two very different things. If it was one thing that was like actively like creating those feelings and like driving them, like a current sort of vibe is a lot different than just like no, that's just how they are and they're happy with it. Like
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. I think it's a fair point. I just think it's a point that's very difficult to change from a LOM/league perspective. It just needs to kind of be an entire culture shift in the league itself, which, to be fair, as I said, I think is slowly getting there, but it's not really something you can mandate with rules.
but also
Um,
if you do have an issue or feel like a bunch of people are, you know, like seeing you or a team that you're on in a way that you don't think is true, like please feel free to reach out or say something privately.
Certain. I guess it depends on the perception. Some perceptions it's on that team to prove wrong.
Yeah.
and sometimes it's Toronto and Houston. So, yeah.
It's like they're
Never
just
trust what
chilling.
Toronto and Houston say about each other.
It's like, yeah. Like they're just memeing, don't worry. They're just having a slap fight in the corner. It's okay.
Okay. These last two, I'll make them quick because they're honestly relatively self-explanatory. This is pertaining. Does anyone have comments pertaining to MLR rosters not mentioned? One person said that they think that MILR should have a much larger roster size because when they've tried to recruit IRL people, they seem less excited when they find out they can't be on the same team as the person. Um, I don't really have an opinion on this one, mainly because I don't play MILR. But what I will say is, I think that's a good idea in a vacuum, but also
And
people
just
struggle in MLR to split play time when we have 18 player rosters. If we make a 30 player roster in MILR,
you will
I
bat one
mean, you don't
time.
get to play. If you rotate players correctly, you don't get to play. You get to play 4 games. So,
Like
And that's
yeah,
also something
large
to bring up
roster.
to Uga. They
Yes.
already expand rosters. They don't cap at 18. I don't know
Yeah,
what
no,
their
I think
cap
they're
is
currently
they're at
capped at
20.
20. I think it's 20.
Yeah.
So yeah, if, like Tomas said, if you're already at 20 and you're wanting to bring in this 21st person,
That's your friend. Like
even
you
if you're
can.
swapping everyone out every game, that's still, several who aren't even in the game or don't get a lot of playing time if they are being swapped out halfway through. So
Like the larger you make a roster, the more like exponential is the wrong word, but like it's an increasing level of lack of playing time the bigger the roster gets.
I mean, like you get
Um,
all of a
so
sudden you're sitting for a month.
which some people might be fine with, but a lot of people are more than likely not fine with because of the aforementioned I play MILR to play more baseball. If you have to sit for a month, you're not playing baseball.
Yeah,
So,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
yep.
And
It's
then
a
the
tough
last
one
thing, oh,
because
go on, sorry. Go on,
I was
sorry,
gonna say I
sorry,
see
sorry.
both sides of it.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, smaller rosters in MILR would be great, bigger more teams, smaller rosters, you play more, but you don't get to play with the people on the team.
Yeah.
Bigger rosters, sure, you get everyone on the team that you want to talk to and have fun with, but you all aren't playing as
Yeah.
And unbelievably, those are the exact same arguments about why MLR rosters themselves should be bigger slash smaller slash why they were made
Gasp.
bigger in the first place. It's so people can play with their friends, but then playing time becomes difficult, and overall league roster health becomes difficult, and it's a balancing act.
Yep.
And if you make it any bigger than, I think if you made MILR rosters any bigger than like 22, maybe, I think you're getting into too extreme of a roster size. But that's my opinion. Last thing then is someone suggested and I will quote it, the itty bitty type committee, which is basically that there should be a MLR type committee to evaluate types based on player count and historical stats, to incentivize players to explore different builds and see if there's a specific meta in MLR, um, and if we should adjust them. I think this is good in a vacuum. Speaking of vacuums, committee might murder you. Um, but no, joking aside, I think this is a good idea. I have actually calculated the stats of all MLR types, and I am of the opinion that there's only one bad type in MLR. I'm just not telling anyone what it is because then everyone will not pick it. Um, I agree, Joel. Like player count wise, it's skewed towards three types, but actually results wise, it's different to what you would expect. There's not a lot of there's a little bit, but there's not a lot of correlation between what types are good and how many people play a type. There's only one type that's truly bad that should probably be reworked. Which could be done by the itty bitty type committee. So if anyone is
Or
interested
the itty
in
bitty
being
tippy
on an itty
committee.
bitty type committee,
Itty bitty tippy committee.
itty bitty tippy committee, yeah, stroke. If anyone's interested on being the itty bitty titty committee, definitely not the itty
Tippy.
bitty
nope.
titty
Tippy.
committee. Not
Not
that.
to be
Not
confused
that.
with the itty bitty kitty committee or the EBDB the Eskimo Brother Database Bed and Breakfast. It's the itty bitty tippy
Of
committee.
course. And of course, Jones and Barbecue's foot massage.
Yes, of course.
But yes, I think this is definitely something that could be interesting. My biggest concern, personally, with always like I've wanted to do stuff with types. We actually have a pretty good simulation strategy for our types. We have code to simulate all the strategies. Um, However, I don't want to release the data because I know if we release data that says, "Oh, basic power is the best type,"
Yeah.
we're just going to see a flood of transaction logs of 50 people changing their type to basic power. So it's trying to find the balance between making the types fair and not pointing out which types are particularly better than others. And for what it's worth, for anyone curious, um, the types in MLR, there isn't a very large difference in specifically OPS between them. All of the types in MLR on average are bound by 0.075 of an OPS. That's the only difference across all types. So for the most part, they're pretty balanced. And some types have a very high OBR, a very high OBP, but a low slugging, and things are generally pretty well balanced for something that was done. I don't think it was quite napkin method, but
For a bunch of
I think it
fucking
was a
heathens on
decent
Discord.
amount of arbitrary guessing. They
Yeah.
did a damn fucking good job. So yeah, that is
Yeah.
my thoughts on the itty bitty type. Itty bitty tippy committee. There
There you
we go,
go. There
guys.
you
I
go, buddy.
got it right.
All right.
We do have some stuff on recruitment, but we can probably talk about that in our final update before FCB, probably after the All-Star break. Because I know Stupido has to go. We've kept him a little bit too long. and it's not important to talk about them now per se. We can talk about them at a later date, and I'm also going to put them and stuff. But yeah, I think that's everything. Do either of you have anything else to say? Left to say?
Nope, that's it.
I think the biggest one is with. I'll jump real quick on the recruitment. Is a lot of the ideas where here's places you could go that I'm a part of. Here's some other ideas of communities I'm in. When we come to recruitment, it would be great if you all reached out and said, "I would love to talk to people in this particular community that I'm in," because it means a lot more when someone in the community walks in and says, "Hey, I'm playing this other cool game. If you all are interested," than for me to join, only be there for a day or two, post an ad.
Post a spam
Uh,
message and fucking leave.
so I love the ideas of we should check these places, this place and this place, but we need to make sure that whoever's doing it is, for lack of a better term, embedded into that committee or in that community. So we'll leave it there, but we'll talk more in
Agreed.
a few
Agreed.
sessions about it.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yes.
We will have the VOD out soon, and I will post the graphs in announcements of main after the stream. Probably a little later today once I have some shit I need to do. I need to go to Coles and shit. So I'll post the graphs in announcements later today.
We did it.